The Department of Employment and Labour has announced the increase in the budget for its temporary employee relief scheme. You'll remember it as TERS, from 400 million to 2.4 billion for the current financial year. The boost aims to assist companies in distress and prevent employee layoffs amid unstable economic conditions. The CCMA has recorded job losses as a result of retrenchments for the 2023-24 financial year. The Commission also reported that out of 38,428 employees who were likely to be retrenched, 39% of those were saved through interventions. You'll remember that TERS is an intervention by the Department of Employment and Labour, and it provides financial assistance to companies in distress for up to 12 months. I'm in conversation now with Viwe Mlenzana, who is the Acting Director General at the Department of Employment and Labour. Viwe, thank you so much for your time and welcome to On Point. Perhaps before we go to the interventions that you are extending as a department, particularly with regards to the TERS issue, I just want to find out, we have learned of this issue of the kids who have consumed snacks in Naledi Soweto, and the community are threatening to close foreign-owned spaza shops and businesses there. As a department, to what extent can you intervene and what can you do?
Well, no, thank you very much for having us on your show. Firstly, there's a lot that we have been doing, all right, in the past couple of months already, heightening up the issue of, employers that do not necessarily comply with labor laws. So, it is obviously concerning that we have heard through the media of what happened in Soweto. Of course, I think it would be appropriate for us to then make sure that we do cover these areas. The only issue that we have challenges with is obviously capacity. But, now that these issues have come to the fore, it is obviously would be irresponsible of us not to give attention to those areas.
All right. Viwe, let's talk about the TERS issue, that you say that most you have been able to prevent some job losses and you are increasing the budget. But how many of the companies have actually applied for assistance, and which sectors are those mostly in?
Well, we have quite a number of companies that have applied, right? And the sectors vary. In the main, though, it is mining, followed by manufacturing, and then next to that will then be telecommunications. But we do find that there is a widespread of these particular applications. But those three are the main concentrations that we are finding. We have obviously taken note of some of the early warning systems, if you like, that are coming from the CCMA, which are indicative of some of the strain that some of these businesses in these sectors are going through.
Yeah. Do they perhaps tell you what are the most pressing things that are contributing them to retrench? We are aware, of course, of the low growth environment and how that impacts on companies. But in your investigation, do you go that far in trying to understand just what the companies are going through?
Yeah, it is a condition of our, consideration that we need to understand specifically what are the issues that the companies are finding difficulties with. But what you get generally, it would be issues related to working capital that then lead to employers or these companies wanting to consider layoffs, as it were. So that then obviously gets followed up by other capacity issues generally that they would have, either in a form of tools of trade or business plans that need to be developed or redeveloped, as it were. But mainly, it's about cash flow.
Yeah. So obviously, this also points to internal issues as well as the economy as well. But just how far can the department go in terms of increasing its budget? What is the limit that you can go up to?
Well, the 2.4 billion rand is the upper limit that we have approved for this year. So, and I emphasize that it is only for this financial year. Obviously, we'll review that and look at the demand and the challenges that the economy is going through, and we will obviously budget appropriately, given the indicators that we are getting. for the next financial year.
Yeah, the promises of GNU, they promised that, it looks like the economy or business could be a little bit better. How confident are you that, how the new government is, the composition of it can result in better business conditions in the future?
Well, I think, for us, we are administrators and we are government officials. So what we look at really are policies of government, and we seek to implement the policies of government. What we are, seeing though is that areas that are affected mainly by the labor market, not the labor market, but the market conditions, are mainly in the mining sector, and those specifically around PGMs, all right?
Yeah.
And as we know that the PGMs are not necessarily, doing well at the moment.
Yes.
So that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing.
All right, Viwe Mlenzana, the Acting Director of the Department of Employment and Labour, we thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate your time here on Point.